Hey, Webmug World Entertainment review for episode 7 is here. Yep, Starfleet Academy, it's that day again, God help us all. This episode has two basically storylines, which is featuring Genesis is kind of the main focus of the first one, and Durham is the focus of the other one. This episode is boring, absolutely boring. Nothing happens. It's literally just sitting around talking about your fee-fees. Literally. But they're going on shore leave already, and you're to go to assigned families, but Caleb doesn't want to, so he's given permission to stay in the ship. But the only thing that'll be accessible to him is his quarters, obviously, and the mess hall. That's it. On this gigantic ship. Now, there's issues I have with the whole idea of the ship being on this so-called lockdown and crap. This episode also just shows us how much of a hack that Alex Kurtzman truly is, because he steals ideas from other things, and it really shows again in this episode. I'll put it to you this way before we get to it. Think of the warp speed whales in Star Wars. Yes, you heard that correctly, but on a much smaller scale. Yeah, you're probably going, what? We'll get to it. So, Genesis, we're starting the episode off with her, and Ake takes her to the side and informs her that she's going to be referring her to go to a leader's captain's course or something. Basically, she's putting her on a course to become a captain sooner. All that type of crap. And she's like thrilled. And it's because she showed exemplary behavior and a great example and blah 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 during the episode 6. Here's the thing. You're kind of sitting there and they're talking about it like it only happened the other day, and you're like, how much time has passed since that incident? This is something, especially with a one storyline arc in streaming shows, that annoys the bejesus out of me. Is you don't know how much time has passed. How much time did we pass from what we just saw in an episode to the next? Like, was it an hour? Was it a day or two? What was it? We do finally get a reference of how much time has passed in the middle of the episode, by the way. So it's not like it happens at the start. It's the middle of the episode when we're told a month has passed since the last episode. That's how much time has passed. Not a couple of days, even though they're talking about it like it happened yesterday. A month. A full month. So the episode actually starts off with Caleb trying to record a message to, what's her name? Tamara, whatever. The Betazoid, who we're told is back on Betazoid, recovering. She's out of the coma. She's recovering there. He's trying to stand her. By the way, what do they open this episode with? Yeah, a flashback of the sex scene. Yeah, it's like they were so proud of that scene. We're going to shove it in your face again at the beginning of this episode. And then we're going to show it to you again near the end of the episode. It's like, good God. But he can't send this message. He's like, oh no, I'll delete it, blah blah blah. And you're like, oh God. So they're getting sent off the ship for what they call World's Day, I believe it was. And like, Tig Notaro is the one kind of sending people everywhere. It's ridiculous as well, because they're just transporting people off the ship. Like, they're just walking forward and zip, they're gone. And yet they're making announcements over the comms for shuttlecrafts. Your shuttlecrafts will depart. It's like, why are you taking shuttlecrafts when there's instant bloody transporter, walk-through? I hate that effect, by the way. It's horrible. It's also retarded, as is the show. We see Genesis walking up the stairs with Sam, the retarded hologram, whose hairstyle looks like anal beads. And she's still seemingly malfunctioning a bit. She's going on a rehab trip. I shit you not. They're sending a hologram who shouldn't have been able to get shot because they already set up that she can't be shot. Ended up getting shot and now is somewhat malfunctioning. So she's being sent on a rehab for holograms? Okay. And she said it's a spa, by the way. And she's really like, oh yeah, it's going to be a spa and all this. Is like, what? So this is when Genesis gets pulled aside. But you're like, the hologram is going on a spa rehab. Okay. With a hairdo that looks like anal beads. Gotcha. Then Durham is walking through. Oh, he sees Jaden, or Gaden, who is, by the way, gay now. He is actually dating the War College guy, whose name is Kyle. So that shouldn't be too hard to forget. Kyle. And Durham sees him holding a shirt, like a stupid Hawaiian shirt. He's like, what the hell is this? Like, the Klingon is going on a holiday with Kyle to Ibiza. Yeah. Now, for anyone in the US or Canada or anywhere really who might recognize that name but it's not sure where Ibiza is a small Spanish island off the coast of Spain. It's a party island, basically. A lot of the Brits go there and stuff. So that's where Ibiza is. It's off the coast, the east coast of Spain. So that's where Ibiza is. Again, it's a party island, basically. But that's where they're meant to be going. And it's like, oh my God, okay. Even though this actor's delivered that line, you're like, I bet you he couldn't even find Ibiza on a map. But he is like, yeah, I'm going there with Kyle, we're going blah, blah, blah. And that's where you realise they are dating. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. But Durham goes back to his quarters. I don't know why he's going to his quarters, but he hears something and he's like, hey, is that someone? And he's like, oh, you better not be screwing me. And then this weird little gold nugget fight thing rolls up to him on the floor. And when he picks it up, he goes, oh no. And this guy grabs him. And then this woman comes up. And they just put their head on his hand and he falls asleep, basically. It's like it's like roofing him, but by touching his forehead. It's like, okay. And they open a portal and they go through it, but Jaden sees it and follows. And we're on a moon that's a part of his world, which is called the Sunset Realm. It's like, what? By the way, what this is he's kidnapped to be brought back to his world, but they're not actually on his world. They're on the moon to his world because he's to get married to his best friend, the girl that he grew up with. And the first thing that strikes you is they're fish people. Why is there not a lick of water on this moon? They do explain it, that this isn't actually Carhonian, whatever the hell they're called. It's just their ceremonial moon. It did have water, it dried up. The actual planet does have the water and stuff. But here's the thing, they're fish people. Why is every one of them human? Not one of them is in their natural form. It's like, why is that? And then we meet his wife-to-be and her, I suppose, bridesmaid. And my God, did that girl have some massive eyebrows. I mean, half her forehead was eyebrows. It was like, God damn, they are some big ass eyebrows. But Jaden follows, and of course, he tries to say, oh yeah, this is my best man, and blah, 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 and he tries to explain. That whole thing of the wedding, and you didn't know it was meant to be a wedding, and oh look, it's in kind of a deserty looking setting and stuff. Yeah, just think of Spock, when Spock had to go back to, what's Spock's wife's name again? Is it, no, T'Pau? Something like that. I can't quite remember what his wife's name was, where he ended up fighting Kirk. Now, these two don't fight or anything, but it's just that same kind of setting of that, like, you didn't know this guy was meant to be involved in this, but he is, and blah, blah, blah. Genesis and Caleb are still on the ship. By the way, I don't understand this either. There is a lot of Holly Hunter speaking with both Caleb, where, you know, he's trying to say, I don't want to go to these assigned families, blah, blah, blah. And this is where she kind of gives in, lets him stay on the ship. But Genesis had already gone. She's off the ship, but managed to hack her way back on. Everything Holly Hunter said in this episode, I could actually understand. I'm not lying. Now, her voice is still a bit meh, but I could actually understand what she was saying in this episode. It was weird. It's like she actually took the time to deliver the dialogue, because normally when she speaks, our reactions are,
you know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
yeah, I could understand everything she was saying this episode. It was weird. I was like, I can actually hear her. Okay. Interesting. But she gives Caleb the okay, and he's sunbathing in the middle of the ship. I'm not lying. He's like, stripped down to, like, I don't know whether it was boxers or Speedos, but he's there. And then Genesis stands over him, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you all wet? And he's like, we've a swim pool, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing here? And she tells him anyway, basically, that she hacked her way back on to do homework because she's up for this course that the Captain Ake is going to send her for, or recommend her for, which is like the captain's course or some shit. And they just go around the ship in, like, they go to sickbay. They're making up this game of toxic or non-toxic, where they're dipping their hands into the doctor's jars of shit. This is where they rip off Star Wars. Yes, you remember I said about the whales. So Caleb sticks his hand into what looks like water, and he goes, non-toxic, and Jen says, oh no, give it a minute. So she's asking him, like, hey, how's Tamana, whatever the fuck her name was. And he's oh yeah, she's doing fine, blah blah blah. But he's not flat out saying I haven't spoken to her. His hand all of a sudden goes blah, and he pulls it out, and it's like a weird slug. Well, no, he pulls it out and it's got shit on his hand, and his hand's glowing. He goes, oh, I guess it's toxic. Then his ears grow. Genesis gives him a hyperspace. By the way, why the hyperspace look like phasers from First Contact, I don't know, but they do. And he goes, well, I guess I lost that one. He goes, I suppose it's over now. And she goes, well, not exactly. And he goes, hey, look, it's escaping, and there's a slug. The jar dropped, and it's a weird slug thing coming out of the jar. And he goes, well, we better catch the slug before it gets away. And she goes, it's a slug. It's not exactly like it can go to warp speed. Yeah, you've already guessed it. It goes to warp speed into a window. The slug is a warp slug. So now they've decided we'll rip off the Star Wars hyperspace whales, but we'll do it with slugs. So this slug is warping around the sickbay. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. There's a slug going to warp speed in the sickbay. And then they're trying to capture not just it, apparently there was babies, and they're capturing the last one, and they hear a voice, and they have to hide, and it's Tig Notaro, who's on basically a phone call to the wife. We don't actually see the Jem'Hadar bitch in this episode, but we hear her, and apparently she hurt her toe. And now here's where there's a massive error they do. Tig Notaro, I think, what's her name, Jet Reno or something, she's bending over, like, hypospraying her toe. They're also using the hyperspace to freeze the slugs to capture them. The slug is above Tig Notaro, and there's a big lump of goo. They'd already frozen the slug, but there's a big line of goo, like slug snail crap, coming down. Now remember what I just said. Tig Notaro is bending over. She's sitting on a chair but leaning over, hyperspraying her toe. The goo stuff is coming down right above her. It's going to drop on the back of her head. So they're like, right, once she bends over and does it, freeze the thing. So once she's doing that, Genesis freezes the goo. And you're like, okay, but once Tig Notaro sits back up, she's going to smash into that. No, she stands up and walks away, and you can see that it was at the side of her. So that's not where that was, and not how far down it was. That was almost at the back of her head. So when you froze it, she should have, when she sat back up, she should have smashed into it. But she doesn't, so that's stupid. They break onto the bridge. They end up having a talk. This is where we find out that, this, by the way, in the middle of the episode, when we find out that a month has passed, because Genesis is asking Caleb, like, hey, when's the last time you spoke with her? And he's like, you know, her brother, whatever his name is, told me, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, when's the last time you actually spoke with her? And he goes, just after the incident on the, whatever the ship was called, the Makazi or Manazi or whatever. And she goes, that was a month ago. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, like, 30 days, a full month ago. And he's like, yeah. So that's when we find out a month has passed since that episode, what happened in episode 6. So he's like, right, what's next? What do you want to do? And she goes, sit in the captain's chair. And he's like, yeah, good one. She's like, no, seriously, that's what I'm here for. And she gives this speech that's funny, because her whole thing about wanting to sit in the captain's bridge is because her father is an admiral who we still don't know exactly who it is, and we have not seen him. She's saying, if I get to become a captain, Am I following in his footsteps? Or are they just giving me the things because I'm in his footsteps and all this type of crap? And you're like, but you want to sit up on it. Because Caleb says, but he's an admiral. You've been on ships. You'd have been on his ship and sat in his, like, in the captain's chair. And she goes, yeah, it's his chair, not mine. It would be his chair, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you want to go to the bridge on the Athena. Guess what? Still not your chair. That would be Ake's chair. So what's the difference? But they do. They go onto the bridge, they hack into it, she starts activating all this crap, including the warp core, and Caleb's like, no, you can't do that, and he starts shutting down, and while he's doing that, he's distracted. She turns around and does this little at the chair, and pulls out what looks like a USB fucking thing, thumb drive, and he's like, what's that? And it's her record, and her application to Starfleet that she wants to delete. We find out why, but they get caught by bloody Tig Notaro on the bridge at this stage. How they didn't hear her walking onto the bridge, don't know, but they get caught. So Ake comes back. By the way, I will be swinging back to that crap with Darren. There's not much with it, but Ake's like, why did you want to hack into this thing? You know, you're exemplary, you know, your scores are fantastic, you're doing great. Why would you risk it all for this? Apparently, it's not that she lied on her forms to get in, which is what they're kind of hinting at. It's that she's afraid, that she lives basically in fear, that she does things because of fear of letting down her father and stuff. And she's not punished. They're just, Ake tells them, like, I'm going to revoke your application for the captain's thingy bob, and the two of you have like 200 hours of community service, basically. That's it, off you fuck. It's like, good God, okay. So she risked her whole thing of being in Starfleet because on her application form, which was still accepted because she still got into Starfleet, was that she makes decisions based on fear. I'd say, okay. Darren and the Klingon, Jaden, are on the planet. Jaden's just moany as fuck. I want to go home, blah, blah, blah. He's like, finds out that Darren knew he was meant to get married, like it's an arranged marriage, but didn't realize it would happen this early. He's getting married to a girl who's royalty on their planet, who will be the leader of their planet. All this crap. But in the realization kicks in that for him to marry her and stuff, he has to leave Starfleet, but he doesn't quite want to, but he has to do what his people need him to do. And he goes on and on. He's doing it for his parents and all this stuff. And yet we never meet his parents. We go through a whole ceremony. I thought it was actually them getting married. It wasn't. It was just like almost a practice run. But we never meet his parents. It's like, where's the parents? You think they'd be at this type of ceremony? Don't know. He does have a clap back at Jaden, because Jaden's like, you know, you clearly want to be in Starfleet, yada yada, and he claps back with a whole thing of, oh, unlike you, I'm not abandoning my family and my people, blah blah blah, which is funny because it was the other way around. Jaden's parents left him, but either way, he's like, yeah, well, make your own best man speech, blah blah blah. Jaden does show up and give this big speech about who Darren is, and the girl has a realization of, I've never met this guy, you know, I've always met this very shy guy, and clearly he should still be at Starfleet, so she doesn't want to go through with the wedding. And Jaden's like, oh, let's go home and stuff, and that's it. That's all that really happens with them. It's like the realization, if he doesn't want to leave Starfleet, he's finding who he is at Starfleet. Him and Gaiden pretty much are becoming friends, not like gay friends, but friends, even though there's still weird things where it looks like they're meant to be gay for each other. By the way, remember Darren made that speech where it sounded like he was bisexual, when he's like, oh yeah, I slept with the brother or something, and then before I slept with his sister. When he's about to go on this shore leave and he's walking past all of his buddies and he's like high-fiving them and stuff, he's like, say hi to your sister for me, say hi to your sister for me, say hi to your sister. So they very much changed it to, oh no, he's straight. It's like, but is he? It's weird. So overall, the episode is boring. It's literally just him and Gaiden talking on his moon planet thing about him wanting to appease his family, marry his best friend who he does love, but just for his people and stuff. but doesn't want to leave Starfleet. And the other stuff was Genesis basically just wanted to do everything to try and alter or delete her application form that again was accepted because she's in Starfleet, to remove that she does things in fear. It's like, what in God's name? So yeah. Oh, and the whole thing getting built up as well was that there's a meteor shower. So by the end of the episode, when everybody's coming back to the ship, and Sam the retarded hologram shows back up and is like, you can't hear them talking, but they're playing a shit song again over them. She's like, look at my hair kind of thing. It's like, your hairstyle is the exact same as it was at the start of the episode, you moron. But they're watching the meteor shower and they're all in awe of this meteor shower. It's like, you're in Starfleet. You've been in space. Why are you fucking mesmerized by a meteor shower over San Francisco? It's ridiculous. I was like, okay. But now, the thing I have a major issue with this episode is the ship being in lockdown and stuff like that. Number one, why is it in lockdown? Don't know. But why is there no goddamn crew still remaining on board? Yeah, you're sending the cadets away. You should still have staff aboard the ship. The ship still needs to be maintained. Why is Tig Notaro the only person on there? Where is all the holographic doctors, including the Doctor? Nowhere. It's like, okay. But then I have the issue of when the two Cahonians, whatever they're called, show up to basically kidnap Darren, why is there no intruder alert alarm going off? How did they get onto the ship on Earth and not set off any alarms? Because they didn't just transport. Darren tells Jaden, oh yeah, that wasn't exactly a transport. That was somewhat of a manifested, artificially created wormhole. So it's like, how far away are you people? But also, why did no goddamn alarm go off? Where was the alarms to say intruder alert and stuff like that? It was ridiculous. And of course, Caleb was able to hack into the computer to get onto the bridge for 5 minutes. It's like, why would you have to hack into it? I don't know. It's so stupid. But yeah, that was episode 7. There's still 3 more weeks of this, people. Good God. But there you go. That's episode 7. Lots of talking and crying once again. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and hit the hype button and check out memberships and all that good stuff. You know the drill, good people. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.